Imagine a shy English teacher with no money, no connections, and no technical knowledge walking into the world's most competitive market, the internet. What chance would you give him? Probably none. Yet, against all odds, Jack Ma turned this impossible story into Alibaba, the e-commerce empire that reshaped not just China's economy, but global trade itself. Alibaba's story is not just about building a company. It's about resilience, vision, and the courage to dream big when everyone else laughs at you. In this documentary, we'll explore how Jack Ma started Alibaba in his small Hangzhou apartment, how it survived China's unstable internet market, and how it grew into a trillion-dollar ecosystem touching e-commerce, finance, logistics, and even cloud computing. This isn't just a story of one man. It's the story of how the internet transformed China, how small businesses found their way into the global economy, and how one company challenged giants like Amazon and eBay on their own turf. Stay with us as we dive deep into the rise of Alibaba, a story of failure, persistence, and ultimate triumph. And don't forget to stick around till the end, because the way Alibaba is shaping the future may just change how you see the world. In the late 1970s, China was just opening its doors to the world after decades of isolation. A young boy named Ma Yun, later known as Jack Ma, grew up in Hangzhou, a city that was still far from the booming tech hub it would later become. Jack was not the kind of student you'd expect to change the world. He failed multiple times in school, struggled with math, and was rejected from jobs as simple as working at KFC. But Jack had something else, a love for English. He would ride his bike for hours to meet foreign tourists, offering free tours of the city just so he could practice speaking. That curiosity and willingness to learn set him apart in a country still catching up to globalization. In 1995, Jack Ma traveled to the United States. There, for the first time, he saw the internet. He typed the word beer into a search engine and found results from all over the world, except China. At that moment, he realized China was missing from the digital map. That realization would spark the idea that would eventually lead to Alibaba. But Jack didn't immediately start Alibaba. He founded a translation company first, then an online directory called China Pages. Both failed. Yet unlike most people, he didn't stop. These early failures became the foundation for his ultimate success. It was 1999. Jack Ma gathered 17 of his friends and colleagues in his tiny Hangzhou apartment. They had no money, no powerful backers, and no technical expertise. What they did have was belief. Jack stood in front of them and pitched his vision, an online marketplace that would allow small Chinese businesses to sell their products to the world. They named it Alibaba, inspired by the story of Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Jack believed the name was easy to pronounce, global in appeal, and carried the magic of opening doors. Just like Open Sesame, Alibaba was meant to open the gates of global trade for China's small businesses. The early days were rough. The internet in China was slow, the concept of online shopping was alien, and trust in digital platforms was almost non-existent. But Jack had a strategy, focus on small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. While others chased big corporations, Jack believed the true power of China's economy lay in its millions of small businesses. Within a year, Alibaba began attracting attention. Its model was simple but revolutionary. Connect suppliers and buyers directly, bypassing traditional middlemen. Slowly, word spread. By 2000, Alibaba had raised its first big funding from Goldman Sachs and SoftBank, signaling that this crazy English teacher was onto something big. The early 2000s were brutal for internet companies. The dot-com bubble burst, wiping out countless startups across the globe. Giants in Silicon Valley collapsed overnight. For Alibaba, survival became the only priority. Jack Ma's leadership was tested. Instead of chasing aggressive expansion, he focused on building trust with customers. He created a company culture rooted in resilience and teamwork. Employees were encouraged to think like fighters in a battle, because that's exactly what it was. While many internet companies in China were burning cash unsustainably, Alibaba focused on solving real problems. They understood that in China, the biggest challenge wasn't just building a website, it was building trust in online transactions. People feared being scammed, payments were unreliable, and logistics were chaotic. In this difficult climate, Alibaba doubled down on its mission. Jack told his team, "We will make it because we are small, and we will serve small businesses. When big companies collapse, we will still be here. That mindset kept Alibaba alive when many others failed. And by surviving the storm, Alibaba positioned itself as one of the few credible players left standing in China's internet economy. In 2003, Alibaba launched Taobao, a consumer-to-consumer marketplace similar to eBay. At that time, eBay had already entered China with deep pockets and global experience. Most analysts believed Alibaba didn't stand a chance. After all, eBay was the giant, and Alibaba was still a local player. But Jack Ma understood China better than eBay did. He realized that Chinese consumers valued community, trust, and flexibility more than strict business models. While eBay focused on transaction fees, Taobao offered free listings, fun features, and even an instant messaging tool that allowed buyers and sellers to chat directly. This small feature was revolutionary in China. It built trust and created a sense of human connection in an otherwise digital transaction. Slowly, Taobao started pulling users away from eBay. By 2006, eBay admitted defeat and exited the Chinese market. The impossible had happened. Alibaba had outsmarted and outcompeted a global giant in its own game. Taobao became the backbone of Alibaba's consumer ecosystem and set the stage for its dominance in e-commerce. This battle wasn't just about business. It symbolized the rise of Chinese tech entrepreneurship, proving that local companies could defeat foreign giants by understanding their own culture and customers better. While Taobao was growing rapidly, there was still one massive obstacle: payments. In the early 2000s, credit cards were rare in China, and people didn't trust sending money online. Without solving this trust gap, Alibaba could never scale. Jack Ma came up with a bold solution: Alipay. It was an escrow-based payment system where money would be held securely until the buyer confirmed they had received the product. Only then would the seller get paid. This reduced fraud and gave people the confidence to shop online. At first, regulators were skeptical, and even Alibaba's own investors doubted the move. Jack launched Alipay without waiting for government approval, famously saying, "If someone has to go to jail, let it be me." That risk paid off. Alipay transformed the landscape of Chinese e-commerce. It not only powered Taobao, but also became a standalone fintech giant. Today, Alipay, under Ant Group, has over 1 billion users and handles trillions in transactions, making it one of the largest mobile payment platforms in the world. By solving the trust problem, Alibaba didn't just grow e-commerce, it revolutionized how money itself moved in China. With the success of Taobao, Alibaba didn't stop. In 2008, they launched Tmall, a platform for brands and larger businesses to sell directly to consumers. Unlike Taobao, which was focused on small sellers, Tmall gave companies a trusted space to showcase official stores. This was a masterstroke. Global brands like Nike, Adidas, and Apple entered China through Tmall. For Chinese consumers, this provided authenticity in a market flooded with counterfeits. For global companies, it offered direct access to hundreds of millions of Chinese shoppers. The combination of Taobao and Tmall created a powerful ecosystem. Small sellers, big brands, and everyday consumers all interacting within Alibaba's platforms. This ecosystem became nearly impossible for competitors to replicate. Alibaba wasn't just building websites. It was building digital infrastructure for commerce in China. By integrating logistics, payments, and trust systems, Alibaba became the backbone of the country's online economy. The growth was staggering. Taobao and Tmall became the largest e-commerce platforms in the world, surpassing even Amazon in total transaction volume. In 2009, Alibaba turned a little-known holiday into a global phenomenon. November 11th, or Double 11, was originally celebrated as Singles' Day in China, a tongue-in-cheek holiday for people without partners. Jack Ma and his team saw an opportunity. They launched the first Singles' Day shopping festival on Tmall, offering massive discounts. What started as a marketing gimmick quickly exploded. By 2010, sales had crossed billions. By 2019, Singles' Day sales reached $38 billion in just 24 hours, more than Black Friday and Cyber Monday combined in the US. It wasn't just shopping. It became a cultural event, complete with celebrity performances, live-streamed fashion shows, and massive media coverage. Singles' Day cemented Alibaba as a master of blending culture, marketing, and commerce. It showcased the sheer scale of China's consumer market and Alibaba's ability to mobilize it. Today, Singles' Day is not just China's biggest shopping day, it's the biggest in the world. And it all started with Alibaba turning a quirky holiday into a retail empire. While most people associate Alibaba with shopping, another part of its empire is just as important: Alibaba Cloud. Launched in 2009, it started small, but today it is the largest cloud provider in China and one of the top players globally. Alibaba Cloud powers everything from e-commerce platforms to AI-driven services. It provides the digital backbone for thousands of companies in Asia. While Amazon has AWS and Microsoft has Azure, Alibaba Cloud dominates its home market and is expanding internationally. What makes this so important is that cloud computing is the future of business. By controlling the infrastructure behind data, payments, and logistics, Alibaba ensured it wasn't just a retail company. It became a tech giant. Jack Ma's vision was always broader than selling products. He wanted Alibaba to be an ecosystem touching every part of the digital economy. Cloud computing gave Alibaba the foundation to scale across industries, from entertainment to finance to government services. After conquering China, Alibaba set its eyes on the world. Through platforms like AliExpress, Alibaba allowed Chinese sellers to reach global buyers. Suddenly, people in Europe, Africa, and South America could buy directly from Chinese manufacturers at low prices. Alibaba also expanded through acquisitions and partnerships. It invested in Lazada in Southeast Asia, built logistics networks through Cainiao, and explored partnerships in India, Africa, and beyond. One of Alibaba's biggest moves was its 2014 IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. It raised $25 billion, the largest IPO in history at the time. Overnight, Alibaba became a global name and Jack Ma became a tech celebrity. This IPO wasn't just about money. It symbolized China's arrival on the global tech stage. For the first time, a Chinese company was being compared to Amazon, Google, and Facebook. Not as a copycat, but as a leader in its own right. Alibaba's rise hasn't been without challenges. The company has faced accusations of counterfeit goods, regulatory crackdowns, and increasing competition from rivals like JD.com and Pinduoduo. In recent years, Jack Ma himself has stepped back from the spotlight after clashing with Chinese regulators, especially following Ant Group's blocked IPO in 2020. The Chinese government has imposed stricter rules on tech giants, reshaping the industry's future. Yet Alibaba remains one of the most powerful companies in the world. Its ecosystem of e-commerce, payments, logistics, cloud, and entertainment is unmatched in scale. The company continues to push into new areas like AI, digital healthcare, and global trade. The question is, can Alibaba continue to rise in a world of increasing scrutiny and competition? Or will it be forced to reinvent itself once again? From a struggling English teacher to building one of the world's biggest tech companies, Jack Ma and Alibaba's story is nothing short of extraordinary. It's a story of resilience, innovation, and the power of believing in dreams when no one else does. Alibaba didn't just change China's economy, it changed global commerce. It connected small businesses to the world, empowered millions of entrepreneurs, and showed that the internet could transform entire nations. Today, Alibaba is more than a company. It's a symbol of China's rise in the digital age, a reminder that no empire is built overnight, and proof that sometimes the underdog can change the rules of the game. And as we look to the future, one thing is certain: the story of Alibaba is far from over. The next chapter is still being written. If you enjoyed this journey into the rise of Alibaba, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping our world.